Do you feel the same way, that those who are no longer able to defend themselves get a really rough ride?
I agreed with Anne when I heard Yoko Ono. I also watched the Aspel show the other night, and I heard her say that. And yes, I do think the dead have a real raw deal when it comes to defending themselves. I mean, Marilyn Monroe being a case in point as well, years ago. I mean, all these terrible things said about her. And again, the legacy lives on of her work. But I think if you know the person or you knew the person, you are affected by what people say about them, and especially if it's someone you love.
If they were dear to you.
You don't want people writing terrible things about them, especially if you know that not to be true.
But on the other
you would automatically react, wouldn't you?
But couldn't we be accused of being hypersensitive? After all, many people watching right now will be saying, well, all these people are all paid wonderful sums of money. Some of it will be true. You know, they've got to take it. If they want the fame, they've also got to take it.
I think people have got a right to be sensitive. I don't see what's wrong with that.
No amount of money makes up for somebody being liable.
You don't, exactly. You don't get paid to have terrible things said about you, especially if they're not true.
When it boils down to it, it seems to be the case that what the press say seems to be different from what the people think.
That's
and I
very
suppose
often
to most
true.
people it's ordinary people that matter. What do you think? I mean, do you think they care whether or not Richard Burton did this or did that? Whether or not John Lennon took drugs and had a homosexual relationship? Do you think they care?
I think they're interested in reading it. I think people have a sort of morbid curiosity for things like that, but I don't really think it matters for very long. And I think they still like the person. If they like them to begin with, they continue to like them.
I think maybe we take the press too seriously. Maybe we do that. And I don't think the British public want to see heroes. And Burton was a hero to millions. They don't want to see him knocked down. They certainly don't want to. You've never had a bad press. You don't tell me.
I've had bad reviews and all sorts of things, and been misquoted in not to the extent that we're talking about here, but people have written things. We're part of an interview where I'm supposed to have said something, and I've said, I don't know what that's about. And recently I read about somebody else who said that when I'd seen their impersonation of me, I had tried to take out legal action against them. And I mean, that's just a figment of somebody's imagination. I mean, surely you would... I'm actually quite flattered when someone impersonates me. When Bobby Davro impersonated me, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. With the hat and the suit. I just thought it was brilliant. And if somebody impersonates, I take that as the sincerest form of flattery in a way.
Tremendous flattery.
And I'd never get upset about something like that. So sometimes one gets annoyed and says, oh God, I'm sure the public must think I haven't got a sense of humour at all. But it's not true.
I agree. I mean, let's see what Bobby Davro had to work on, shall we? The real Barbara Dickson. In action, I think, at one of your favourite venues, the Albert Hall. It would be safe to say that, wouldn't it?
That's correct.
Here we go. Barbara at the Albert Hall.
I don't expect my love affairs to last for long. Never fool myself that my dreams will come true. Being used to trouble, I anticipated. All the same, I hate loved you. So it happens now.
Another suitcase in another
So it happens now.
picture of another one.
Where am I going to?
You'll get by, you always have before.
Where am I going to?
Lovely stuff. You know, Matthew Corbett, who's sitting on your left, said, thank goodness people are producing new generations of spectators for young Sooty there in the box.
Yes,
Congratulations to you.
Yes, and I've got a 2-year-old son he's not quite into television yet, but I'm sure he's going to love Sooty as much as I did when I was little.
Yes, I was going to say, we should explain that your second is on its way.
Yes, so I'm expecting a baby in December. I'm just looking enviously at how slim I was on that picture.
It's terrific.
It really is feeling like an elephant town. I feel like a walrus.
You look marvellous. You really do look good.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Sally.
You're going touring?
Yes, I start on Sunday. Well, I don't know. I don't think it is. I honestly think that at this stage of the game, I'm 28 weeks now, and I think the troublesome time is at the beginning, and once you're past that, you just feel like a whale or a galleon.
Does it
in full
affect your
sail.
ability to sing?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it.
The volume of
It's the only
air
part.
inside.
It's the only part of you that doesn't seem to become completely affected by
Actually, being a singer is probably jolly good training for being pregnant, because you know your muscles will be all sort of really good up in the diaphragm area.
Well, I know that the little baby inside always enjoys the singing, because I went on tour when I was pregnant with Colm, who's now just over 2, and he used to, when I was sitting down, I sang, I think it was Another Suitcase, sitting down in a chair, and the baby used to move a great deal in specific songs.
And did he recognise any of the music when he came out?
Yes, well, I had a very extraordinary experience when the first television programme I did, when he was very small, he was about 4 months old. He was sitting on somebody's knee in our house, and I was there because it was recorded, watching this performance, and it was the first song that I'd sung on the tour when I was pregnant with him at the piano, and he was completely, his breathing changed.
Gosh.
He started to breathe in a different way. And I wasn't holding him. I mean, it sounds like a tall story, but it really was
No,
amazing.
I believe
The
it.
child reacted to the sound of that song.
No, there's more and more medical evidence to show that babies in the womb here.
I must say my children change whenever I come on the television. Their breathing changes because they go, oh, no. They walk out.
Daddy doing?
Well, of course, they used to be immensely proud because they were small children. It's a programme for small children. But now the eldest is 16, and of course, it's very embarrassing if your father
Your
earns
dad.
his living by sticking. Well, you know what I do for a living.
Yeah, we know what you do.
But I mean, I can remember being 16 and thinking that about my father. When I was 16, I thought he was ridiculous. By the time I was 19, I was surprised at how much he'd grown up in 3 years.
Listen, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
We're running out of
You've seen
time.
the accounts, clearly.
How many, does Sooty have a big Pantechnicon when he goes to Rickmansworth, Aldershot, Maidstone, Redhill, Hayes, Reading, Southport, Ashton under Lyne, Croydon, Mansfield and Bradford?
How kind of you to mention that.
On that
I
tour?
thought you would never do it.
It starts on September the 29th?
It starts next week. We're going on tour, and yes, he does have quite a big lorry. A lot of people think it's going to be like Punch and Judy, but we've got a 7-ton truck and 5 crew members. Do you want to
Where
see?
is he? Well, he's
Well, I was
big.
going to say, he hasn't met
Do you
somebody
not fast asleep?
Who's that? That's Barbara. We should give you a kiss.
Oh,
God, give him a kiss. No, you missed. No, push
I
your lips
can't.
out.
there we are. Oh my goodness. I do that to all the
Experience
children.
that shows. Stand up.
Now, Barbara, you will be famous with Colin.
Yes, it's
Believe me.
amazing.
Oh yes, just one other thing. This is what he got
kudos.
for his birthday. Look, a new magic wand.
Another magic
Now,
wand.
you remember his magic spell. Do you remember his magic spell, Mike?
Hold on, remind me.
Is he wizzy?
Let's
Let's go.
go.
Oh,
Is he wizzy?
Yes,
Let's
your
go.
age
Yeah.
is showing. Let's all say it now, shall we? Is he
wizzy?
Let's get busy.
I don't know. Oh, look.
Look at
As
that.
if by magic. There
That's
you
very
are.
clever.
Give that to Ollie as well.
Oh, well, thank
All right.
you very much.
Do you think you've done enough now? Well, Mike's mentioned the tour, so you can
Oh, I
go
meant
down
to
there.
mention the sex scandal with Sue, because Sooty got involved, wasn't he? That's true.
No, you must don't mention that word in front of
There
him.
was a scandal,
Better-
though,
don't
wasn't
listen. Well, there was actually. There was actually, because many years ago when Sue was introduced, she's a female puppet.
I know.
My father.
Very attractive, too.
Indeed. Don't come up. My father wanted to introduce a female character into the show, and the producer at the BBC said, "I'm sorry, but you can't have a female character." And my father said, "Why on earth not?" He said, "Sex on children's television." And my father said, "You must be joking. What do you think they're going to do?" He said, "I'm sorry, that is the dictate. No Sue." So that night in the pub, my father's bemoaning the fact, and a guy next to him said, "Excuse me, I couldn't help overhearing. Do you mind if I use that as a story? I'm a journalist." My father said, "Well, it's true. Use it." The next day, all the popular tabloids, like The Sketch and The Sun, there wasn't The Sun, The Mirror, "No sex for Sooty," things like that. We still got all the cuttings, and the BBC was so embarrassed that they had to allow Sue to join in, but they sent a little note down right from the top of the BBC saying, "Sue is allowed to appear, but Sue and Sooty must never touch." But it's going back a very long time, because this is going back 23 years, and Auntie Bee was...
P.S. We are an equal opportunities employer.
That's right, that's right.
It's different now, of course.
What about Sweep? I mean, when did Sweep come along?
Well, he came along shortly after Sooty, but they're just good friends. They're just good friends.
I wasn't thinking anything else.
I don't know, I think there's more to this story than meets the eye, you know.
there is, you're
I
very
really do. Yeah. Anyway, good luck on the tour,
Thank you very much.
and pleasure to meet you. And give our regards to your father, won't you? Who
Yes,
started
and if you
the
want to
whole
see
thing
more of
rather-
Sooty, of course, they can watch this afternoon with the new series.
And Sooty in Space is the name of the show. Excellent
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah. And Barbara's touring
Barbara
as well.
Dickson in space. Sunday.
When you
We're
start
so
touring
excited.
straight away, do you?
I start. Yes, I'm in rehearsals now. I think it's sort of even more exhausting than being on tour. I start Sunday, and I finish on the 6th of November. So I start in Cardiff and finish in Southampton, but I hit Aberdeen in between at some point, if you know.
And
what I
then you
mean.
really do need to put your feet up, don't you?
Yeah, well, I've got some recording to do in November just to take me up to
So it's just a quiet
time.
pregnancy
yes,
then?
Yes, that's
Good.
right.
That really is
Feet up
hard
at
work. And the Burton documentary is tonight?
Tonight at 9 o'clock.
Right.